get asked a lot about the sort of items that I pick up, and we haven't done a pickups video for a very long time. In truth, I haven't really been buying a massive amount, although a couple of people have very generously sent items to the channel. And, you know, I'm only human. There's always something that catches your eye. So there's probably actually quite a lot by many people's standards that I've picked up, but by my standards, it's not as much as you might think. Now, most of these items are second-hand, and there's some great deals out there. And the first one is this Class 42 Warship. It's one of the Bachmann models. You can tell by the box. It's a slightly earlier model. Now, there's been a lot of misinformation on Class 42s from Bachmann. Certainly what I've read online, a lot of claims that the earlier non-DCC ready versions are on a split chassis kind of style arrangement. And without having one to take a look at, I'd actually found myself avoiding the earlier models. Certainly the later 21-pin DCC ready versions, really good. I've got one. I actually picked up Kelly was the one that I got way back when Hattons were doing a sale on them, and I don't think I paid a lot for that brand new factory DCC fitted. But this particular one came from Clark Railworks, and it's 32-054, and this is D831 Monarch in BR Blue. But it was listed as already DCC fitted, and that intrigued me, so I thought I can't really lose out here. I want to see how they've DCC fitted this. I'm going to actually show you this because Ellis Clark trains have always done us good with really nice, accurate descriptions. So I'm just going to take this out of the box. And it was described as mint condition with a really good box, and actually that is pretty much the case. You can see there, this is what I might call chromatic blue. It's a slightly different livery from the outright rail blue versions. And you can see we've got the small yellow warning panels. So the top half of the cab front here still has the blue one. And we've got almost this kind of grey roof stripe down the middle. And that's quite different from the Class 42 and the Class 43 I've already got in my collection. So already it stands out. And this blue is somewhat darker than the BR Rail blue. So I'm going to call it chromatic blue. It's already got the detailing user fitted at the end, but they've done a really good job. We've got sprung buffers. But it's actually got all of the detail parts still sealed. So I'm guessing they are user fitted. But the only thing I can think of here is that the person who originally bought this may have bought a couple in this livery, and rather than just taking one half out of each of the detail packs, they've taken one detail pack and used enough parts for both ends, but just fitted them to one end on each of the locomotives, and that's why this has ended up with a factory sealed detailing parts pack. In terms of internally what's in these, I'm going to share this with you because we've dispelled myths with the N-Class before now. And I'm just going to undo, there's 2 screws on these. I think, but don't hold me to this, that the later bodies will fit on the earlier chassis and vice versa. But I'm just going to take out the body there. We've got full cab interiors. There's no lighting on this at all, and there you have it inside. It's actually an older Soundtrax decoder. Not sound, even though Soundtrax are probably pretty well known for their sound decoders, but they do regular style decoders. This is an earlier one, but actually on the track the locomotive does run reasonably well. Now, it would appear that the circuit board originally sat on top here, and then it's been hardwired with the circuit board removed and the decoder just kind of double-sided sticky tape to the top of the motor. But that is not a split chassis, and in fact, it's probably remarkably similar to the later DCC ready chassis, with circuit board on top screwed in through these 4 screws. So there you have it, well worth picking up. I paid £65 for this bad boy, and that includes what is actually a non-garbage brand of DCC decoder. Now, I always say, whenever you get a locomotive that has been fitted by the end user with a regular DCC decoder, that I always regard that as not being worth any money unless somebody can verify for you the brand of decoder, because more often than not, you're looking at a really cheap and nasty brand of decoder that, to be honest, you're going to end up replacing because it'll run like garbage. But actually, Soundtracks has done us proud in that, so we've really lucked out. And there you have it. There's the first of the models I've picked up. Plus, now you know, look out for those Bachmann Class 42s second-hand. £65 I paid for that, mint, DCC fitted, absolute bargain. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support comes from...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest loco.
Now, the next two items that I've picked up, now everybody knows I love an A4, and the only thing that's better than an A4 is two A4s. Now, I picked these up from Rails of Sheffield. They had a massive collection in lots of different A4s, all in BR livery, good, because they're the ones I collect, and a lot of them have been professionally renamed and renumbered. And actually, these two started out as, the single chimneyed one started out as Guillemot, and the double chimneyed version here started out as Falcon, which is actually quite a rare model anyway, the base model, but I guess it was just what they had available in the shops at the time to give them the double chimney. These are the Hornby super detailed, but with the 8-pin socket in the locomotive versions. And they've been renamed and renumbered very professionally to Sir Charles Newton 60005, and then also we've got Golden Eagle 60023, and these are, believe it or not, two that I needed for my collection. Now, there were others, but I behaved myself, kind of. Well, no, I didn't. I bought two of them, but they were probably, I think in total there was either 5 or 6 that I needed, that I wanted as part of my attempts to have all 34 of the A4s that survived to BR days in BR livery with the BR numbers. And believe it or not, I'm up to 27. So there's not that many more left to go. Believe it or not, would you believe it, that Union of South Africa is one of the ones which I don't have. One of the easiest A4s to pick up, and I do not have Union of South Africa. In terms of others as well, Bittern has proved rather elusive, and I don't have Bittern either, despite both of those being preserved examples. And I think that Dominion of Canada may be another one that I need. But when you've got 27, you do occasionally need to go back and double check just to make sure that you don't accidentally buy the same locomotive twice. Now, these did come boxed. That's how I know their original identities. I'm not sure who they got to do the rename and renumber. They may have actually, the original owner may have done it themselves. And certainly they've done a superb job. So even though these are not factory issued ones, when you look just there against the cab sides, There's no real sign of kind of scuffing to the paint or anything that would allude to that being a renumber. Perhaps at most just slightly shinier inside the lining. And they're very, very carefully, I think, repainted or at least put some kind of protective matte varnish on that panel, but they've actually covered the entire panel up to the lining, which does make for a really neat and professional finish. So I'm quite pleased with these. They do run really well. I've got them DCC fitted now. And then, of course, I've got the other one here, Sir Charles Newton. Now, these are ones which have never, as far as I know, been released in the super detail form. I'm not interested in the older either split chassis for Bachmann or the ex-railroad tooling from Hornby. Just not interested in those. But for the base models which I approve of, then Charles Newton and Golden Eagle have never appeared in BR livery. And it's something that a lot of the A4s just never seem to be released in some of the more unusual liveries. We get Mallard, Sir Nigel Gresley, the surviving examples, although Bitten does seem to be a little bit hard to get from time to time. But I'm looking here at models like Silverlink and also Seagull as well, I think is one. Certainly Sir Charles Newton and Sir Ralph Wedgwood too, which is another one that I do need for my collection. As far as I'm aware, they've never been released in the high quality models as ready to run examples. So when you get professionally renamed, renumbered, decent locomotives, it's well worth getting. Now, if you're interested, both of these are with pretty much the same tenders. They're the non-corridor variety, pretty much interchangeable, I suspect, which probably is well because I have managed to mix them up. But there we go. These are the other two second-hand locomotives that I've picked up. The next locomotive that I've bought is this, which is the brand new Dapol Hawthorn Leslie. Now, normally I would have done a full review of these models, but I've been cutting back what I do, as I explained in a previous video. So I ummed and ahed about filming it, but I thought, you know what, no, I'm just going to enjoy it. And you know, I really regret that because the time's passed now, there's loads of reviews out there, but I will share with you my honest experience of having run this locomotive extensively. Now, I chose Asbestos in the green. It's number 4 is its running number, and this locomotive actually operated in Trafford Park, and I've got a thing for locomotives of the Manchester Ship Canal Railway and also that worked in Trafford Park. Hornby have actually done us proud. They've done one of the 3 W4 packets. Number 11 was released. Really do want them to do number 12 and number 27. Would be nice. Not sure whether we'll actually see those. And they did one of the 4-wheel chain drive Sentinels, DH16. There were quite a few of those. They went up to at least DH23. Although not all the way down to DH1. I think DH16 was the first. They kind of had D numbers up to where the Sentinels took over, and they were numbered with a DH then subsequently. And then also one of the 6-wheel Hunslets that worked over at the other end of the system, which certainly really quite interesting. I think it was the Ellesmere Port end of the rail system. They survived till quite late, and Hornby did do one of those. And now we've got Asbestos from, I think it was Turner's Asbestos Works. And this has definitely been a sleeper hit for me. A lot of really great features. I like the magnetically held on cab roofs. You can not just get in there and admire all the insides, but you can fit a crew very, very easily. But in terms of running quality, the reason I'm a bit miffed I didn't do a full review is that this is definitely the locomotive of the 2024, and now I've featured it in a video, I think it should be eligible. But it really does have amazing pulling power. I didn't bother fitting this with a stay alive, and quite frankly It just doesn't need it. It's really sure-footed. It's crawled around Weir Yard for a number of different Monday clubs, and it's been a faultless performer. Not only that, it's managed on the 4% gradients, in fact I think on the 5% gradients, it's managed a longer train even than some of the bigger locomotives manage. There's a lot of weight in this, and I think that this is an absolutely fine locomotive. If you don't have one of the Dapol Hawthorn Leslies, get yourself out there, buy it, you won't be disappointed. It really is a great model with some amazing features. We've got the firebox glow and flicker in there, and getting into it for fitting the DCC decoder. You can see there we've got the nice hidden screw. Really, really well designed, and it just takes a Next 18 decoder. Plenty of room in it. I must try it with one of the HM7000 decoders, but quite frankly, it doesn't need any kind of a stay alive. It just keeps on going. So there you go. So far, I would put this as the model of the year, and was really, really glad to be able to pick one up. Not badly priced either. I think it was about the discounts that are being offered. I think it was at around somewhere around the £110 mark, but really, really pleased with that. And I can safely say that there is nothing to fault. It would probably get 10 out of 10 in all 5 categories. So there you are, stick it on the screen, 10 out of 10 in all categories for the Dapol Hawthorn Leslie. Absolutely stunning locomotive, had no problems with mine, and it's really blown me away on performance. The next item is this. The answer is, of course, Dapol, and it's quite interesting that I wasn't quite aware at how many of these limited editions Dapol used to do. This, I'm guessing, it says made in Wales, actually at Lower D Mill, Llangollen. It does have an 01 telephone number, so that puts it in the 1990s. But it's actually a limited edition of one of what was then their Terriers. So you can probably quite accurately date when this was put out, because not that long afterwards, the tooling was sold on to Hornby. And this was sent in by one of the patrons of the channel, and I'm eternally grateful for this. So I'm just going to make sure that, there we are, Simon Pitcher very, very generously donated this to the channel. And you can see there, it's actually laminated. I've never seen that before. We've got this certificate issued by Dapol Model Rails Limited, certified that this locomotive, LBSC Terrier, in Southern Railway Bullied wartime livery with sunshine lettering, is numbered 81 of 100. That's actually a really, really low run of models. Normally it's usually about the 500 mark. I've seen down to 300, but limited edition of 100 is proper limited edition. And it's interesting to go back on the rewind and just see how models used to be in the 1990s. And look at this. We're spoilt, you know, with our exploded diagrams, because there we are. Section showing the amount of detailed design involved in a new model. I can't really make too much heads or tails of that. There's a lot of measurements on there, certainly. It is quite interesting, but we've moved on really from this locomotive. They were great in their day though, weren't they? And interesting here, in the paperwork, it gives some information, the 5 different liveried models that were in the range at the time, with the catalogue numbers D69, LBSC livery number 662. I think that is the burnt umber livery, which is why it doesn't give its name. We've got Box Hill as preserved, D73, D72, Great Western Railways green number 6, British Railways lined black livery. It says as pictured in the Dapol catalogue. Don't have that, so I don't know what running number is. D71. D70 was the Southern Railways green. Again, doesn't tell us the number for some reason. But there we go, in really, really pristine condition. So thank you, Simon, so much. And let's get this out of the packaging. And it's interesting to see, these appear to have been specially hand finished at the Dapol factory, because the chassis has been painted up. Some of the paint's flaked off, so I can see that the plastic tooling was in the brown, which would probably have gone with that London Brighton South Coast burnt umber version. But then we've got this wartime black livery, which I think really does improve the model, it must be said. The connecting rods are interesting. They look, again, almost handmade on these. And I don't know whether maybe these were being put out using up leftover stocks of things like bodies and mechanisms that Dapol had just after they sold the tooling on. I'm really not sure. But it's a lovely model, and actually doesn't look too bad. This livery does bring out the best in this older tooled model, it must be said. So there we got Southern Sunshine livery as number 2659, and it's just amazing, some of these bits here. Look at that, laminated, and it looks to be personally signed. Oh, there we are. I'm being a thickie. There we go. 1st of the 10th, 1997. Gosh, so that would have been my first term at university, so that really does take me back a little bit. So thank you so much, Simon, for that. Incredibly generous of you. The final items that have been sent into the channel are these 3, and I feel really guilty because I've misplaced the letter that came with them, and I can't recall the name, so I'm really, really sorry. I did mention it on the Monday Club. Ham Shackleton very kindly sent some items into the channel. So you can see here, we've got Manchester Ship Canal wagon. These are, again, specials. So this is a limited edition wagon commissioned by Astley Green Colliery Museum. That's not far from here. Manchester Ship Canal Company, wagon number 1259. And this is on the old former Wren, which in turn was former Hornby Dublo tooling for the 5-plank open wagon with the coal load. And you can see there quite a simple livery, but a lot of these liveries actually were. And that's, again, mint condition. We've got another one from Tyldesley Coal Company. This is another limited edition commissioned by Astley Green Colliery Museum. This is Tyldesley Coal Company, Peelwood Colliery, Atherton, Wigan area, wagon number 598. And this is in a red livery. We've got the white with the black drop shadowing. Really interesting. That's, I think, yeah, that's a different base wagon. So that is a 7-plank wagon, whereas this is the older 5-plank style wagon, which was done by Hornby Dublo. I think this was made specially for Dapol, if it wasn't originally an Airfix wagon. Some of the history of the tooling is quite checkered. But that's really nice. Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway branding on there. And then the final wagon, and this comes in a box which don't have an insert into, but I'm just looking here. Oh, there we go. This is catalogue number R6498, 21-ton mineral wagon, AAC anthracite. And this looks to be more like the Felix Pole coal wagon, the all-steel coal wagon, which when Felix Pole was the wagon superintendent for the Great Western Railway, introduced because it was a much more efficient way of carrying the coal. I think they worked out they could get something like a 15 or a 20% increase in coal able to be carried within the same length of train. So it was much more efficient, not just on what a locomotive could pull, but also in terms of siding length. So effectively they could increase the system's capacity by 15 to 20% without actually putting in any extra sidings for them. And this is actually quite a nice finish. I've always steered clear of some of the older Hornby wagons, but this is actually quite nice, really crisp, sharp printing on this. And the quality of the tooling is quite nice as well. It does make me wonder, would Hornby update the chassis on these? They've got the larger goalpost style couplings, but these just plug in. And I know from experience it is possible to use the slimline Bachmann tension lock couplings. They sell them in packs to fit their older style wagons. They can be trimmed down and made to fit in these as well. So that might be a nice little project to have a go at putting new couplings onto that. But I do love my Welsh wagons, and certainly this is an example of a type of base wagon that I'm not really familiar with. We've got really good quality printing. I can't actually read that myself, but under magnification might be interesting just to see the dates on the wagon build plate on that. And like I said, I've misplaced the letter that came with it. I am so sorry not to be able to name check. Ham Shackleton, very kindly, thank you so much. And it's always really humbling, and I'm always blown away by you guys' generosity when you send stuff to the channel. So thank you so much. Today's video is sponsored by TMC, the Model Centre, your first choice for finding all of the models featured today at the best possible price at the link in the description. TMC also offers custom weathering and renumbering to any model, be it brand new or pre-owned. Check out their full pre-owned listings too, where you can be assured of quality as every item is screened and graded by professional staff. TMC, the Model Centre, your first choice for all aspects of modelling. The last few items that I want to show you that I've picked up, I actually picked up today down at Nuffy's Models. Had a walk into town, and it's always great to just go in there and have a browse. And this particular one, this was a Bachmann Collectors Club wagon a few years ago now, and I don't think it sold very well because it's turned up in a lot of different model shops. I've been looking at it on and off for probably well over a year, not just in Nuffy's Models but elsewhere as well. So I finally relented and I picked up one of these. In fact, yes, it's quite a few years ago, 37-2017K, 5-plank wagons, M.E. Evans, exclusive to the Bachmann Collectors Club. Haha, no it wasn't, because all of the model shops actually ended up with these. So picked that up. I paid £14.40. It's always good to support a local model shop. And I haven't got it out of the packet yet, so let's do that there. Ooh, and it's effectively new old stock. Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't realised Bachmann's put yet more plastic into these. I don't know, why would they want to add more plastic waste in? That's a new one on me. I've not seen that on any of the other wagons, although it probably is more of a statement of how I don't tend to buy a lot of rolling stock these days, so that's interesting. This is based on the 5-plank open. It's actually been in the Bachmann range since very late 1990s. It is a great model actually. I do love these. I've got a lot in my collection, and this particular livery, it's quite striking actually. Of course, it's commemorating Merle Evans, who worked for amongst others Bachmann, and this particular one was just a commemorative wagon that they sold through the Collectors Club, and I don't know why, but it just didn't seem to sell all that well, or maybe they made a heck of a lot of them. Maybe they overestimated demand, so they've ended up going out to regular model shops and being sold through them. I got some other items as well. So the next one up is this, and I think this is second hand. But it might as well be as new. For some reason the price tag, in fact the model's in the box upside down, that's why. That's my fault. I took it out of the box to check it in the shop. £25 paid for this, and this is R4345B BR Maunsell composite coach, running number S5663S. Now, I've got a few of these Maunsell coaches from back in the days of Model Zone. Remember them? When they were doing a sale, I actually bought quite a few. But when you buy them in the sales, you tend to mostly end up with the brake coaches. So, as far as I'm aware, it'd be a bit disappointing if I dig out the coaches I've already got and find I've already got this one. I don't think I ever had a composite. So I think I'm fairly safe. And you can see that the plastic inserts do go slightly brown with age. It's most peculiar, this plastic that they use. And they come with some, these appear to be, I think these are name boards for if you put train names on. You put the transfers on these and then glue these onto the tops of the coaches. I've never ever used them myself. And they always came with these couplings. They probably still do. I find these really good for close coupling. And I use them certainly on my Gresley coach rake. I've fitted them with all these, so they are quite useful. The coach itself is in the blood and custard, carmine and cream, whichever you prefer to call it. And these are probably from the heyday of the Hornby stable ruling the roost when it came to coaches. Produced a lot of really high quality ones. There's a bit of dust on the top, so I think it has been out of the box before. That just cleans off really quite nicely. And I do like these. They remind me a little bit on this side of the Gresley teaks. I think that's what attracts me to them, with the big windows for the corridor. Really, at 25 quid, I thought it was a great price for what's probably quite a hard to get version of the Southern Railway Maunsell coaches. So I'm quite happy to pick this up just to bulk out the rake of 3 that I've already got. I've got a rake of 4 now. I do like these end gangways there with the shut doors, which is pretty good because when this is the end of the train, or if it's on its own in a siding or something, that's what you would see on the real ones. And of course, when they're coupled together, it doesn't matter because you're not going to see that. So we've got first class up at this end, and then we've got the standard class down here. And it's quite interesting. You can see the subtle difference, how much extra space first class got compared to standard class. And then we've got most of the coaches smoking. There's only these 2 compartments are branded as non-smoking. That one for first class and that one for standard class. It'd be interesting to know just how many people were avid non-smokers back in, this would be 1950s. I'd guess that they'd be viewed as being like people view vegans today, and were probably treated with derision. Oh, what do you mean I can't smoke around you? What are you, one of those health fanatics? Yeah, time has proven them very right. I wonder if it'll do the same to vegans. I don't know. The bogies on these as well. Hornby went to great lengths. They did these coaches. There were some Great Western ones as well. I think they the Hawksworth coaches. I can't remember, but I really do like the Great Western ones that they did. Really, really loved the style. They also did the Gresleys. So they had a really good range of coaching stock. I think there's some LMS ones as well. And certainly at the time period, Hornby were the definite kings in the market of coaching stock. So I'm quite pleased to pick that up for £25. And now the final bonus item is in this bubble wrap just to protect it. So I'm going to lie and say I bought this just for the bubble wrap, just so I can sit here popping the bubbles. Oh, isn't that good? Oh, what's this? There's something in here. What a bonus. And this really is quite retro. Got a soft spot still for Hornby Dublo. My father and I collected it for a great many years. But this particular wagon caught my eye. He did have quite a few, but it's in reasonable condition. And for a £5, yeah, that's right, I only paid a £5 for this. I couldn't help myself. It just, I don't know what it was. It just piqued my interest. So, yeah, I've picked up an old Hornby Dublo North Eastern Railway fish fan. This probably dates back, looking at sintered iron wheels, this will be probably about 1952, I'm going to say. So that is 50, 60, 70, 72 years old. It just shows how far models have come, but there's still an amazing charm to these. So a bit of nostalgia there. And that completes all the pickups that I've done in the last few months. I haven't bought a huge amount. I've been quite good. But still, you've seen there, we've got several locomotives, some rolling stock, a coach. I think I've done pretty well. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little look at the items I've been picking up over the last month or so, and certainly also as well those items very generously sent into the channel by a couple of people, and thank you so much. I will definitely cherish those items, and I do feel humbled by your generosity. But it's quite a mix of different items that I've been picking up, and it's interesting to see as well that I'm quite heavily going into the world of second hand. I think there's a lot out there, a lot of great deals out there, and it's definitely an area where your local model shop will often shine through. You can go and browse, and you might not necessarily even know what you want until you see it. And a lot of the second hand items, it's definitely a case of see it, want it, and some great deals, absolutely great deals. So I know a lot of people talk about how expensive the hobby is. Believe me, there are more expensive hobbies than ours. All hobbies in general are very expensive. It's just one of those things. But support your local model shop. There's a lot of deals to be had, both with new and also second-hand items, and it's a great way of picking up some of the models that maybe you missed out on first time round. I know for me, with that Class 42, I'm going to be making up for lost ground with those. I do want to get a green one, and I want to get a maroon one as well. I just really do quite like the Warships, and judging by the one that I bought this month from Ellis Clark Trains, the earlier ones are an easy DCC fit, and I'm going to take that into account. DCC hardwiring is not a difficult thing to do, and certainly you're going to be seeing some more of those Warships in the fleet. And the one that I bought, actually, slightly different detail variation on the livery to the Rail Blue example that I had before, so it's an interesting area for collecting. And my 26th and 27th A4, I think I might have a problem. Yes, I know, I'm Jenny Kirk. I have a problem. I buy far too many things like A4s and Class 25s. And Gronks. Yeah, plenty of Gronks. And I've got every single tops numbered Class 07 that Hellion have released. Yeah, you get the picture. It's easy to be picky when you've got a big collection, but there's definitely some great deals to be had, and I hope you've enjoyed this little trip, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Just what have you been picking up? What great bargains have you had? I know a few people have shared with me some amazing deals from, sadly, a model shop in the West Midlands that's closing down. And there's been half price on everything, buy one get one free on top of that. People have been making out like a bandit from there, and it's great to see that a lot of people have boosted the hobby for themselves by getting some amazing deals on new models. It's sad to see a model shop close, but out of the ashes of that, certainly a lot of people have got some amazing additions to their collection, and it's always great to see what you guys have been picking up, and it's a good way as well of finding out about models that I might not even have known about having been released. So do share with me in the comments section down below just what you've been picking up, and if you haven't already done so, do hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. You can also check out our full merch store with all the great exclusive designs. We're coming up on winter. I know it's difficult to envisage with all the hot weather we've been having, but winter will be upon us sooner rather than later. So a Gronk It Up hoodie might be a great thing to pick up. Beat the rush. We've also got the pin badges on offer, and we are working on the new Monday Club wagons. So stay tuned to this frequency. And until next time, take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support is provided by
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest loco.
I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.